Okay, this video is called How to Read a Book, and it's from my book about study skills, my most recent book about study skills called The Underground Guide to Study Skills by me, Pete Rogers. And basically, reading books should be part of your knowledge management system. You want to have a knowledge management system. One secret to reading a lot is I always read in the bathroom. I've made other videos about the magic bathroom. I have a little portable table that I can just push it over in front of the loo. I always read a big book when I'm number 2, a little book when I'm number 1, or sometimes the same book. Lately, I've been studying the kidney a lot, and I've been reading a lot of papers. Like I'll read a scientific paper, I'll have a pen in my hand, and I'll just circle whatever's interesting about it. So once I'm ready to make a video about it, I'll go to the computer. I always take whatever I read from a book or from a paper, and I make some type of permanent record of it on the computer, like so I don't lose the material. I'll also write a lot in the back of a book. Like here's a book I'm reading. This is one I read. I've read this like several times cover to cover, Stopping Kidney Disease. And I'll make notes in the back of the book. Like I'll put the numbers here of the most important things and what page it's on, so I can go back to it real quick. The stuff I put a number on in the back, these are like AOs, academic orgasms, something that's really important and useful that I really want to know so I can go back to it. Most of the time I can tell from the first 2-3 pages if a book's worth reading. Not always. There are rare exceptions where the author has something good to say, but they're kind of a rookie and they waste time at the beginning. But usually a good author gets to the point really fast. If somebody doesn't get good to the point real fast, usually they're not a good author. Also, if you look here, the table of contents is right as soon as I open the book. I usually take the first couple pages and I just rip them out and throw them in the garbage can. I don't need that. I'll write the copyright on here so I know the date of the book. But I don't want to waste time every time I go back to the book. The first time I read it, I might put Post-its on the bottom or on the top of the pages. You can see I put Post-its on a lot of pages. I was really trying to really understand the kidney. But I mean, just giving you a picture. Look at all these Post-its. A lot of times I don't even use Post-its. A lot of times I just fold the corner of the page over if I want to go back to that page. So the first time I go through a book, I'm in a sense looking for information. It's a searching mission, okay? And then on the second time I go through the book, it's what is worth keeping long term. You're always going to have to read it at least twice when it's a nonfiction book if it's worth reading. If it's a piece of garbage, I'll just throw it in the garbage right away because you don't want those things wasting space. I have thousands of books. If it's a really good book, then I'll have it in some permanent shelf with all the other stuff of that genre. Is it literature? Is it medicine, biology, nutrition? Okay. Let's see. And I go through different phases. So sometimes I was in a phase of reading a bunch of books. And I would read as many as 5 books a week. Other times I'm in a phase where I'm mostly reading science papers. Right now I'm interested in the kidney, so I'm mostly reading papers that have something to do with the kidney in my bathroom. I'll print them out off a computer, and then I'll read them in my bathroom. But I tell you all that because I know most people, you talk to them, they'll tell you they don't have time to read. And that's not true. They're full of crap. They just don't care about reading. And they'll say, no, I really don't have time to read. Everybody goes to the bathroom every day. Everybody's got time to have a book or a little portable table and to read in there. I read the average of about a book a week at least in there. And I'll get through a lot of science papers. On a weekend, I'll easily go through 2 science papers. On a day off, I'll go through a science paper. It depends how long it is, of course. And I said I sometimes speed read in a sense with the pen paper. I'm looking, is there anything useful here? Is there anything useful here? Is there anything I want to retain? Okay. So when I'm reading a nonfiction book, I'm quite often looking for information, to understand the kidney or something like that. When I'm reading a literature book, quite often I'll listen to the audio book, and if I hear a really good part, I'll write down something to clue me into that section, and I'll go back to it. Because I'll often buy the paperback, but listen to the audiobook. Because I can listen to the audiobook when I'm driving in the car, for example, or while I'm, doing something around the house, while I'm working. So then I just write down the key part, the key moment, a good quote or a good something. Because in the literature, a lot of times it takes, 50 pages to lead up to a good scene. So you don't want to write more than just the one little line from the good scene. Okay, let's see. Reading a book is like interviewing the author. Yes, it can be real helpful. If I really like a book super much, then I'll read about the author. Like when I read, Brothers Karamazov, I read all about Dostoevsky and other authors too, Victor Hugo after I read Les Mis. Christmas Carol, I read about Charles Dickens, okay, etc. All right. Because again, it depends on what you're going through. If you're just randomly learning, then you have a whole bunch of books on different subjects. But once you focus on a topic, everything will be on that topic for a while. You sort of binge on it. Let's see. What's good? Oh yeah, and you have to, it depends on what you're reading. If you're reading a joke book, collecting jokes, I might have to read 100 pages to find a good joke. Most jokes are kind of corny and old. Let's see. But I think the key point is you have to have a system to retain the information so that you will have gotten something out of it long term. Okay, I always want to be learning something for the long term. If you find yourself unable to concentrate, you're starting to space out, you can get up and start walking and then read while you walk. That'll improve your attention because animals are made to be alert while they're walking, to avoid objects, to pay attention. You can take a study break, whatever. All right, well, anyways, that's it for how to read a book. Other things people might add is skimming it first, look at the pictures, get a sense of the book. Yeah, fine, you can do that, all depending on the difficulty level and the context. But the most important point is read when you're in the bathroom, so you always are reading. Listen to an audiobook in the car, and have a knowledge retention system. What I'll do in the car is I'll take notes. And I will, then when I bring them home, I'll throw them on a table, and I'll look at them sometime soon. So I constantly get that information and I put it somewhere where it belongs, like with the other information on that same topic or whatever. So that's how I absorb all this information. And, I work full-time long hours and I'm still reading easily at least 2 books a week. So that's how you do it.